Guys, our first clip of Cringe of the Week is kind of a cringery. Guy snaps his neck trying to grab the beam.
Yeah, this guy's drunk at a bar. Guy's jumping for the beam. Nope, neck snapped.
Reverse scorpion. This never works. Do you know why it never works, Richard Ratboy?
Because everyone's drunk and nobody's coordinated?
Everyone's drunk, nobody's coordinated, but even if you successfully landed the jump, all you'd be doing is just jumping and then grabbing onto a beam and then getting down. There's no content there. There's no upside. There's not like, oh yeah, film this. Oh, I landed it. Put it online.
That's going viral. It's on ridiculousness.
Yeah, you just jump and you caught it and you'd hang there and then you drop down. So there's no content there. There's no upside. All that can happen is you get reversed scorpion neck snapped.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's downside only.
Yeah, it's like an options play where your max win is like $10, but your max loss is like 3,000 or something.
Yeah, unlimited.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next we're in Cringe of the Week. We have a very good Cringe of the Week this week. The bug dirt it pronouns person.
Yeah, let's let her go. Let's let it go.
Hello, I'm not Magpie, I'm Tal, but I can explain. So Magpie's pronoun set is it, bug, dirt, they, right? It and they are used.
So this is somebody else explaining someone else's pronouns, right?
But the other person might be living in her system or whatever, like might be in her brain.
Okay,
person.
We don't know yet. Let's let him finish.
Normally. So its name is Magpie, the sweater belongs to it, and it was going by itself. And then their name is Magpie, this belongs to them, they were going by themselves. For Bug, it would be Bug's name is Magpie, the sweater belongs to Bug, Bug was going by Bug's self. And then for Dirt, it would be Dirt is Magpie, the sweater belongs to Dirt, Dirt was going by Dirt's self. You can use these interchangeably in a sentence, you can use just one of them, or you can use different ones at different times. Hope this helps.
Hope this helps.
Yeah.
Helps what?
Helps who? With what community? Who are you telling this to?
Hope this helps.
Call your father.
Yeah, if you're the therapist.
Dirt is Magpie. It's like, no, neither of those things are either. You just put an is in the middle of two random words.
Yeah, the therapist goes, okay, you think you're a bug?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's obviously very confusing. I identify as Chad Strong. Chad.
Yep.
And it's just like, these are just people who aren't really unique players in the game of the world. They're not the main character.
Yeah, they're side characters, so they need to create like a cool story.
Yeah, they need to juice up their avatars a little bit.
Exactly. It's like side quests. But yeah, I'm developing a blueprint for these pronoun people, and I'm seeing some trends. One is, they're not conventionally attractive. I think that applies here. 2, signs of depression. We don't know. We don't know in this case, but, I'm trending towards yes. Absentee father or, poor relationship with your father. So I'm working on kind of a blueprint so that we can check these off and be like, yep, you should be doing pronoun videos. Got it.
Don't get much sun.
Yes, exactly.
Add that.
Don't get much sun is a perfect one.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're still in Cringe. We have a lot of cringe to get through. The WNBA players wants the same rev split that the men get. What's the headline?
It says, we're not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared.
Okay, which seems fair, right?
And so there's an important difference, right? Mm-hmm. They're asking for a percent of revenue, but you wouldn't really get paid percent of revenue ever because you have costs, correct?
Of course.
So you would need to be asking for a percent of profit. Yeah. So your institution would need to make money, and then you'd go, all right, let's divvy up the profit amongst the shareholders, in this case, players.
Yep. We did a little bit of research on this. There's 12 players on a team. There's 12 total teams, so 144 total players. Mm-hmm. The WNBA league loses $12 million a year. Mm-hmm. So if you divide 12 million by 144 players.
Negative 12 million by 144 players.
Yeah, exactly. And the WNBA loses $12 million a year. So if you divide 12 million by the 144 players, each player owes $83,000.
Thanks for playing.
So if you guys want the same rev share, you're going to have to write a check for pretty much all the money you made and all your endorsements and everything. You guys owe about $100,000 each.
You're in the negative. It's not good. It's not viable. And we've had 20 years of this, basically. So we know profit is not on the horizon. It was like Twitter before Elon Musk. Like, there was no profit incentive. They were never going to get there.
Yeah. It's called bad business.
Yeah, it's called waste of time, waste of money, right?
It's called basically a charity, but really losing a lot of money. Hemorrhaging money.
And obviously the NBA subsidizes the WNBA. So it's entirely propped up by the men. The men's profit is propping up the women's league.
Exactly, which is also what they're doing with the soccer players, correct?
Yeah, I actually just read this before we started filming. The women's soccer team, you know how Megan Rapinoe was whining about equal pay and all this and blah, blah, blah. And it was the same argument, like we want a percentage of this and that. Well, apparently they wore down the men so much. They're already male soccer players, so they just kind of took it. But they wore down the men and had this profit swap built into their contract. So if the women's team wins money, which is way less, then the men get some of it. And if the men's team wins money, then the women get half of it. And so the men's team just beat Iran. Kiev again. The men's team just beat Iran and is advancing to the next round, the round of 16 or whatever for the World Cup, which equals a $12 million payday for the men's U.S. team, $6 million of which is going right to Megan Rapinoe and her gender studies shit.
Because they work really hard too.
Yeah, because they work hard. That's it. I don't know what the justification is. Men and women should be paid the same no matter what, I guess, is the new thing.
I guess.
So male models out there, start just demanding what the hottest women get.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works now, as long as you complain about it.
Yeah, if you do the same job.
Yeah.
And also we watched the men's game a few days ago against the UK.
England, yeah.
And then the UK took a knee.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, there is a world where you can make a betting play. So basically, it's like if a team does anything woke, like takes a knee or does BLM stuff and, like, you know, refuses to acknowledge the anthem, stuff like that, and you bet against them, I think that it would be like a good betting strategy. Because if you're on a team that's willing to, like, victimize themselves and be all soft before something hard, you're kind of like, it's like a sign of like a bad internal team. Like, it's like if you had a wound and you say, like, oh, what's that smell? It's like that's what you would, that smell is what you smell before you get gangrene. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like a sign of like, oh, like we're victimized. We're all like squishy and soft. Let's go play this hard game now at such a high level. It's like that team's going to lose. You can't do something soft before something hard. And if you're wondering if that's a sexual innuendo, it's not.
You just thought it was. You just thought
I said
right
it. And then I know people are going to comment like soft before hard. Ha ha. And that happened last week.
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Like that happened last week on the show. We said, oh, we're out there cranking the hogs, referring to the mini bikes. And people were like, oh, cranking the hogs.
That one was bad.
I don't make sexual innuendos. I don't make like gross jokes like that.
Yeah,
so
no.
Get over it. You're gross. You're disgusting.
Yeah, you pigs. No, but I totally agree with that in theory. You know, people say like, if you speak it into existence, if you say like, I'm a piece of shit, you're going to be a piece of shit. Or if you say I'm the best. So yeah, I don't think taking a knee before a game is the best like kind of
like
mindset.
Sad and you're like, oh, there's people out there who have, and it's like you need to run for like an hour, like 3 hours straight and like fight, and it's like you're not ready for that. You're worried about George Floyd.
Yeah. Like, you should be eating a little like Gatorade gummy thing, or like focusing on last minute like talks with your coach, and you're kneeling on the field instead. So that's why it's called soccer now, and you tied America.
Yeah, exactly. And that game was so boring. They just ran around. They scored no goals. I don't understand it. All right, next, the trans bottom surgery got botched, believe it or not.
So I just got diagnosed with vaginal stenosis.
All right. Holy shit. What was that? All right. Okay.
I'm confused. Hi, I'm Zia. I'm transgender. And like 8 months ago, I got bottom surgery or gender confirmation surgery. So I had a PP and now I have a vagina. And let me just preface this by saying I do not regret getting surgery. I do not regret it.
Doubt.
Yeah. Shout out to the podcast. She's calling us out.
Yeah.
So I don't want any of y'all conservative ass bitches to twist my words. I do not fucking regret surgery. However, I knew recovery was going to be hard, but nobody tells you that it could be this fucking hard. But yeah, I was diagnosed with vaginal stenosis, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically when scar tissue gets built up inside of the vaginal canal to the point where it's like extremely tight and uncomfortable. And the thing is, for the first year after getting bottom surgery, you have to dilate your vagina religiously because it's a brand new canal that needs to be kept open religiously for the first year.
All right, that's enough. Religiously, it's like, it's pretty much what it is. Who would have guessed? And And
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, that's like your new religion is this. Focus on being trans and shit. So
who would have guessed leaving an open wound on a male body wouldn't work out right?
Yeah, I don't. Does the human body try to close those holes?
Yeah.
Wounds and stuff like that? That's so crazy. That's weird.
And you go back to the doctor and you go, oh, the surgery didn't work. And they go, oh, it didn't?
Well, really?
Maybe,
I butchered you up pretty good.
Maybe you need another surgery.
Yeah.
Maybe another one.
No, and then I think that I do not regret it is obviously like some sort of defense mechanism, like a mental block defense mechanism. Like you don't regret it and you're crying, you're weeping about how your surgery was botched and how you can't even dilate your front hole that some doctor chopped off of you.
Yeah.
So extremely sad. And I see this as someone who was tricked, someone who was played by the system, by the internet, by the doctors thereafter, once they graduated from, hormones. So I think this is a person with some mental anguish who got tricked and led down a path of, self-mutilation and pills and countless doctor's appointments coming up.
But she doesn't regret it. But then next clip is her just bawling, crying, saying this is the worst thing ever.
And it's fun. Well, the other part is the conservatives, like specifically calling out the conservatives. And it's like, it's not conservatives, man. It's just like people who know that like mutilating someone is not going to make your mind go, ooh. Like chopping off body parts isn't going to go, that the switch is off now. Now I'm happy.
Phew, glad I got that off me.
Exactly.
As if it's some like lump on your neck or something.
Yeah. And then we also want to obviously use some John Fetterman shit. We obviously also want to use it as, proof for the other side, for kids who are considering doing this, tricked by their teachers who are considering it. We need these examples. We need this.
Yeah, it's not for the conservatives to, pounce on, but let's show it to people who are considering the operation and let them decide.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have a couple more things. The Indian trans guy, yeah.
It's very funny because people will say that
gender
is so complicated and
it's
they can't wrap their heads around it. And yet they're deeply familiar with the complexity of sports brackets. They have very strong opinions on the different attributes of vacuum cleaners. The thing is that you choose what you care about. It's never been about comprehension.
I agree
it's
so
always
far.
been about compassion. It's not actually necessary that you understand me. What's necessary is that you respect me. And what's missing right now when it comes to trans and non-binary people is that they don't respect us. This is a failure of empathy, not education.
Well, first of all, that person's framing where they cut off the shoulders was actually the best thing they have going for them because that's where they have like the hairiest shoulders ever.
The disgusting hairy person trying to be the girl is so good.
So flattering framing there. And also...
flattering.
Yeah.
The best you could do.
The best you could do. What you had to do in this situation. And also they say they don't respect, the MAGA people don't respect them. Mm-hmm. If you went up to that person in a MAGA hat and said, hey, what's up? Do you think they would go, hey, nice to meet you?
Hey, what's up? Welcome. Do you want to learn? Yeah, no.
And they go, I need to be educated. Like, I can educate you on some MAGA stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you need to be educated.
The border has this many encounters per year, which is at a 20-year high, and they're coming across. But no, you don't want to hear it. And then I actually agree with all the points they made. Like, yeah, someone can be interested in this. I'm not going to know all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to know every single Lord of the Rings character and every movie and whatever because I'm not interested in it. It doesn't apply to me. And neither does this gender nonsense. You know what I mean?
It's like a demand for engagement.
Exactly.
A demand for like a positive interaction when it's like, I don't really need to cross paths with you in my life. Don't go out of your way to make me engage and then respect you.
Yeah. It's like if I worked at a bank and you came up and you needed a bank loan and you had X amount of income and X amount of thing and you crossed off every bracket, I'd say, here you go, buddy. Enjoy the loan, Mr. Singh, or whatever his name is. I don't know. I made that up. But, and then I'd be like, wow, that was a weird fucking guy, right? But,
Next,
but you still got the loan. Like, it's not like, as long as there's no rules being broken and no discrimination, we have no obligation to treat you or think of you in a certain way. And you're obviously a disgusting, hairy guy. And I don't want to see your arms. And your twink shit. You're on some twink shit.
You're on some twink shit. There's a situation similar to this, kind of in the same vein. There is a woman named Lori Smith in Colorado who's a graphic designer, and she's an artist. She just does graphic design. She wants to do, designs that she believes in. It's a situation similar to the gay cake baker, the baker who didn't want to bake the cake for the gay wedding. It's basically the same thing happening all over again, but this time it involves Lori Smith and it's about graphic design. Colorado's basically censoring her and making it so she kind of has to participate and make certain graphic designs for messages she doesn't believe in.
It's the cake debate all over again, with the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act, right?
Yeah, exactly. So she has certain things that she wants to make art for, and now they're basically saying if you don't make art for like a gay wedding or something, you're not going to be able to be represented in the state of Colorado as a business.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to the Supreme Court on the 5th of December.
Yep.
Alliance for Defending Freedom has a petition for this woman, so she doesn't have to make art for messages she doesn't believe in, which I think is her right. It's free speech, especially as an artist. It's a creative thing. It's not like you're getting a bank loan or a mortgage. If you're an artist and you're making art and you're doing graphic design, why would you have to make graphic designs for people or messages you don't believe in?
Yeah, it's like, put the pen down, write it,
exactly.
Write the gay stuff.
Especially as art. So it's definitely a free speech issue. If you guys want to support her, there is a petition in the description. Alliance for Defending Freedom is doing it. It's very important. The case is December 5th, and it's basically the gay cake baker all over again. But this time, hopefully, it's going to protect these businesses and people's free speech rights.
And we have a new Supreme Court compared to 4 years ago when the cake case was brought. So hopefully looking for a better result. And so the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the cake baker. And, he didn't have to basically do anything that they forced him to do. But that law is still a law in Colorado.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue. And
Didn't
hopefully
fully get resolved.
Exactly.
So hopefully this will resolve it. Sign that petition in the description. It's very important. We don't do calls to action like this very often. Let's support Lori Smith. Her studio is called 303 Design Studio. Let's support people's free speech rights. Let's not make artists make art they don't want to make.
Yeah, and free speech is obviously becoming a crazy thing now where it's being fought for everywhere. Twitter, Colorado, this case, it's like everywhere you see, people are trying to shut you up.
Yeah,
which
it all
is
adds
insane.
up. And then the powers that be are trying to shut down free speech any way they can. So it all adds up. Make sure you support these people. Support Lori Smith. It's very important. Links are in the description. Moving on. The Math Penguins non-binary.
Yeah.
I just had a really cute moment with my students, and it was a great learning moment. If any of you teachers are using the program ST Math this year, you might know their mascot, Gigi. As an incentive, my school has this little Gigi stuffed animal, and any grade that has the most ST Math lessons passed gets to have Gigi and host her for the week. My class got the opportunity to have Gigi, and that was really exciting, but there was a learning moment. Students asked me, is Gigi a she or is it a he? And I said, I don't know. One of the students said, well, maybe they're non-binary.
Ugh.
And I had a student say, well, let's just look between Gigi's legs. And I said, well, we don't know a person's gender by looking between their legs. And then my student was like, oh yeah, that's right. So we decided to call Gigi they, them. It's moments like these that remind me why I got into teaching. These small moments can make such a big difference to kids' lives, and I'm honored that I get to have these moments with these awesome kids.
Remember we used to say...
I'd be honored if you were not having these moments.
Remember we used to say, just teach the kids the math, let's forget about the gender stuff?
Yeah.
That's literally what happened in this situation. Instead of learning math, this teacher is talking about the stuff, what's it between the stuffed animal's legs?
Yeah. No, and what's crazy to me is she's like, this is the reason I got into teaching. The shit that happened in the last 3 years? Like the shit they just made up in the last 3 years? Are you kidding me, lady?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have a weird lady teaching students like it's fact, like a belief, you know? You have these teaching. So Jesus Christ is king. And could you imagine? Like that's a belief you have about gender. That's not settled science. This is like some made up thing coming out of San Francisco and Portland over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So
that's why she got into teaching. It's like, we know.
Yeah.
We saw your hair.
Yeah.
And there's one more teacher clip, the one who gives automatic A's.
This is my favorite.
This is who I wish I had.
What's up, y'all? Dr. Purity here, and I'm going to talk to you a bit about how to decolonize a classroom and how I decolonize my teaching. So, first things first, we do not grade over here, okay? Anyone who takes my class automatically gets an A. They're told in the first week that they're going to get an A. The only thing that's required is attendance, and I have weeks of excused absences built in so that if people are sick or they have family obligations, it won't affect their grade. So since I'm not grading them, I'm just giving them A's. Like, how do I know that they're doing anything? And how do I know that they're learning anything? And so I also don't give homework. Surprise, surprise. And I run a discussion style classroom. So my students and I have equal part when it comes to bringing information to the table. We all sit together and share what we're talking about. And they get to use their critical thinking skills to apply the things they've learned in all their other classes.
Well, first of all, the cat, obviously.
Cat lady, yeah. Dr. Cat lady.
Dr. Cat lady, definitely more cats around. Definitely a hairy apartment. And then also giving automatic A's, no homework, in a discussion class
to decolonize.
It's like you think you're helping the kids by giving them A's and making it easy, when in reality, it's like helping the kids would be making it hard.
Yeah.
Trying to make it hard so they learn. And then if you earn an A, that's great. And they'll set you up for life. You'll learn some life skills and how to prepare, how to study, how to put together a paper or an essay or take a test to make their lives easier. She's giving them just A's with no homework, which is actually going to hurt them in the long run.
Of course.
And then help them fall into the victim mindset later in life so that they can go out and say, oh, I got all A's and I'm still in student loan debt and I make no money and I have a bad job. What happened? Oh, society's geared against me and it helps white people only. And it's just like, nah, you never learned how to learn.
Yeah. You didn't pay. You were texting during that class that you got the A for because attendance was the only thing that could be measured. And I can tell you that if this was back in college during my time in college, me and about 30 of my football playing friends would show up to that class day one and we'd go, what's up? We're here. And we'd do nothing and we'd take advantage of you.
Yep. I wouldn't go to class.
And all your little stupid shit would come in one ear and go out the other. Bye. Thank you for the A.
And we would take the free A. Well, if we were white, we would probably not get A's.
No, she decolonized, dude. We just have to pretend we're they, them or something.
Yeah. I could pull that off.
I could too.
In college, that was my MO.
Yeah, bread and butter is just pretending you were someone you weren't to a teacher. And so this is one of my favorite parts of this is like decolonizing the classroom by just giving everyone A's. And it's like, next we're going to be decolonizing the water supply. And it's like, we didn't test it this week. Yeah. Decolonizing infrastructure, the bridge. Well, white men built that.
Yeah, that was built in 1950, and that was a bad time. Yeah. So we're not going to look at the rusting bolts.
Exactly. So it's like, just extrapolate this mindset to like other professions, and you see how insane this person is. Like, so what's colonization? Like, only colonizers ever had a ranking system? Like, aren't there like castes in India? Like, aren't there like much worse shit out there that like has a ranking or like
that's
other
like
than merit?
Mobile, yeah,
other than merit, which is what you got on a test or what you got on a paper. So
everyone gets A's now, and A's are also now worth nothing.
Exactly. So great.
Hey, I wish I had that teacher.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor. All right. Yeah. If my parents went to that parent teacher night and they were like, all right, we're giving the kids A's automatically, my parents would be like, all right.
All right, we're private school. We're going to private school.
Yeah. Or we're trying to get that GPA high so we can go to an Ivy League school. So we'll take that automatic A and don't listen to the doctor.
Exactly. It's like a ripoff of a ripoff. Like you get kids can't, like, you know how kids can't fail out of high school these days? Like there's no failing. So it's like, okay, no failing. And then a kid who should have failed gets graduated. And then some other school takes him, some college takes him because he's a minority or something. Mm-hmm. And then this teacher gets a hold of him and gives him A's. And then all of a sudden we have a nuclear engineer who's a twink stealing luggage. Oh God, I just cracked it. We cracked it.
Cracked it, and now we got people in charge who are like, "Oh, all right, like, yeah, land the plane." Like, that's what I took classes about landing the plane. Let me just.
I know some of these words.
Yeah, let me look up what landing gear down. Okay,
yeah,
and that's literally where we're at. It's that movie. It's that movie.
But you know what I mean? Like where it's a hustle on a hustle on a hustle, and then all of a sudden I'm an executive or something. That it's like you don't know anything.
And then you have like a Twitter situation where you have like 90% of your employees like, what exactly do you do here? Who's the one who's doing the code? Like,
show me the engineer. I know there's one here.
3 guys in a cubby going like this, and everyone else is eating lunch with a fork and knife on the roof.
Absolutely.